Hello everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day, and today guys I just want to make a quick little update video on my Storm Twister build that has been carrying me through maps very easily. We've been taking on +4 bosses very comfortably, and with this setup I am able to do +2 pinnacle bosses. I do feel like you can push this further, but I am running low on resources to buy these goddamn boss keys. So for now, +2 pinnacle bosses is all I have done, but I do feel like you can definitely push this build further. Hopefully. I am now running the Tangle Tongue Unique Spear, the big boy, the big sheriff in town. So if you're someone that doesn't like seeing builds using this weapon, well, I just saved you like 10-15 minutes. You're welcome. Because I have now started using the Tangle Tongue Spear, and holy crap, it's friggin' amazing. This build does have fantastic AoE, which is perfect for clearing those tier 15 maps, and we also have really good mana sustain with this build as well. I never really have to worry about my mana, which is pretty good. You don't really have a mana issue being a Huntress, but it is nice knowing that with this setup you don't have to micromanage your mana every 2 seconds. One of the biggest issues with this build though is we are very glass cannon and we have very long setup time for our damage. It's really not too bad once you get into the flow of the build, but it still does come with its downsides. You definitely can make this build a hell of a lot tankier than what I've got by going more into the monk tree, getting more energy shield, stacking more energy shield, which is something I am doing now, but I am still missing a lot of crucial bits of gear to give me that defensive edge. I really don't mind the negatives of this build too much because we are just clearing screens. If it wasn't doing that, I sure as hell wouldn't be fucking using twisters, I'll say that much. And a bit of a small disclaimer as well before we get into things, this is not a cheap build anymore, okay? This is no longer a low budget build. This is quite expensive. I have crafted and or found a lot of the bits of gear that I am currently wearing. I recently went to go upgrade some of those bits of gear and I was shocked at how expensive stuff has currently gone on the market. So either a lot of people are buying up the items I am and there's only the really expensive ones left, or that's actually the price. So I thought I'd just throw a bit of a heads up out there that this is not cheap and some of the items can be quite difficult to get a hold of. Alright, let's not muck around any longer. I've spent far too long on the intro. Let's jump into what we're actually taking with this setup. So I am going to go over the skills first, and then I will go over the supports I am taking for each skill. Do not worry, there will be a build planner down in the description, down in the comment section for anyone that doesn't want to sit here for 10-15 minutes and listen to me explain a build. The build planner will be down there. Just go and check it out, save you guys a hell of a lot of time. So for the skills we are using Infused Weapon, we are using Whirlwind Slash, we're using Twister, we're using Whirlwind Lance, we're using Combat Frenzy, Cast on Critical, Barrage, and also Herald of Thunder. And then the supports we're using for Infused Weapon is Primal Armament, Magnified Effect, Lightning Mastery, and also Blindside. For Whirling Lance, we're using Font of Rage, Martial Tempo, Font of Mana, and also Unbreakable. Now I am using Unbreakable because it does stop you from getting stunned a little bit where you're using Whirling Slash, but if you do want to, throw Rage in here. That way when you are using Whirling Slash through enemies, you're building up a shit ton of rage, which is giving you a bucket ton more damage. The supports for Twister, we do have Salvo, I have Acceleration, Persistence, and also Bullseye. Really want that 5 link, man. I'm saving up for it. I'm like I probably could buy it right now to tell you the truth, but I haven't tested anything with it, so I thought I'd just leave it at the 4 link. But yeah, maybe next video if I do another update on this when I'm going through pinnacle bosses, I should have the 5 links, and the 5 linked is going to be massive. So I'm still not 100% sure what I want to put here, but there is some really good options that you can slot in with Twister with the 5 link. The supports for Whirlwind Lance, we have Inhibitor, we have Pin, we have Lockdown, and we also have Scattershot. This setup mainly just helps us try and get Frenzy Charges if we're not getting Frenzy Charges. Our main way to get Frenzy Charges is Sniper's Mark on Cast on Critical. We're critting all the time thanks to Tangle Tongue. Even with a really good Sea Glass or really good Spear, you're probably going to be critting very, very often. And that's where we're getting a lot of our Frenzy Charge generation from, is Sniper's Mark. But every so often there is still a little bit of downtime where you don't have any Frenzy Charges. You just throw like 1 or 2 Whirlwind Lance at the enemy, and Pin and Lockdown pretty much build up the Frenzy Charge for you off Combat Frenzy. Combat Frenzy, we have Profusion, we have Precision, and we also have Clarity. And then for the main star of the show, Cast on Critical, we have Frost Wall, Sniper's Mark, Energy Retention, and also Impetuous. And then for the Herald of Thunder support, we do have Innovate, we have Neural Overload, we have Electrocute, and we also have Soul Thief. Probably don't need Soul Thief here, but I thought it helps a little bit with our mana generation, but our mana generation is pretty good. I could probably take this off. Electrocute and Neural Overload helps really well to generate electrocution on the enemy so we can get Combat Frenzy, and then Innovate's just, you know, giving us that extra lightning damage when we kill shocked enemies. Now that we're done talking about the skills and the supports, let's move on over to my gear. I will focus on the unique items first since they're the most important items. They're really helping this build synergize. So I will focus on them first, and then I will talk about the rest of the gear after. So main star of the show is the Tangle Tongue Fork Spear. This unique spear is absolutely insane. Needs no introduction. Every man and his dog is using this spear if they can get a hold of it, especially with Lightning Spear. But I was left wondering, does this work with Twister? Yes, it does. Probably not as good as Lightning Spear, but it works really friggin' well. The main thing you want to focus on with the Tangle Tongue is you want to get high crit chance. The higher the crit chance, the more expensive it's going to be, unfortunately. I think this Tangle Tongue might be a divine or less. I'm not 100% sure on the correct pricing. But the other good thing about the Tangle Tongue and how we're able to set this build up pretty easily is it comes with intelligence. You're able to get a max roll of 25 intelligence. This is going to help you set this build up a lot because we are very tight on attributes. So getting any extra attributes we can get is going to help massively with just setting this build up. I have put the accuracy rating here. That is because we are using Amazon. I am using the Ascendancy tree where we get flat physical damage from accuracy. So accuracy gives me way more damage than the crit damage bonus. So that is why I'm still using accuracy. Anyone else that's not Amazon, you'll probably be having crit damage bonus in there, I think. But yeah, accuracy is still the way to go. It's a much cheaper option and gives you much more damage. And then of course the main effect is Forks critically hit. Now this is really confusing. I just thought I'm pretty sure everyone thought that when we fork, we'll just get critical hits or something. No, this makes your critical hits fork. So you're able to double dip on crit hit damage bonus. So you'll crit once and then you have a chance to roll that crit again. It's honestly an insanely strong spear, especially when you get into endgame and you have everything set up to be able to use it properly. Grinding Gear Games said they wanted to add more endgame items in, and here you go, boys. We got an absolute banger, which is the Tangle Tongue. I am also running the unique Beacon of Azus Solar Amulet. I'm not sure if I need this because we're critting so often. All our crits are able to just bypass enemies' elemental resistance, which is so fucking strong. Since our tornadoes are lightning, they're always going to be lightning. It's just nice to bypass all the enemies' resistance so we do even more damage. And I do have Overwhelming Strikes on here. I'm not sure if I still need this, but I do have this here for now because it is pretty good for the crit damage bonus, crit chance, and also extra stun build up on crit. We have the Like I Said Shield. This is doubles our accuracy. If I take this off, I pretty much lose 4,000 damage off Twister, so this shield is very strong if you can manage to fit it into your build. And then I do have the Wake of Destruction boots. This is how we're able to create the shock ground so we can suck up with our whirling slash and then shoot out our tornadoes, and they're always going to have the lightning damage bonus on them. So these boots are really strong. I've been wanting to get rid of these boots for a long time, but I can't seem to make anything else work. So it just puts a bit more of a stranglehold on the build. It has no res, no attribute, which is fucking, it sucks. So it does take a little bit to put this build together, and it's all because of these fucking boots having no resistance and no attributes. Nothing of value besides a little bit of movement speed and some damage. Woohoo. So I do really want to try and get rid of these boots, but unfortunately we are still using them because it does help the build flow so much easier just having that lightning ground always at the ready to further empower your whirling slash and your twisters. That's basically it for the unique gear. For the rest of the gear, I'm just running evasion. I did just get this tiara so I can have energy shield to have more defense because I had such low life. I was just constantly dying. So I am switching to energy shield to have a bit more survivability, which does already feel pretty good. Just getting this 184 energy shield has made a massive difference. The other thing is just flat damage like physical, fire, lightning, cold. That's going to be really good to further boost the Tangle Tongue's damage. I'm pretty sure that's the only way you can really boost the Tangle Tongue's damage because it has such a low physical damage stat that you just want to get more flat damage to further boost the Tangle Tongue's damage. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong about that. I mean, I'm not the most educated about the game, so I'm sure someone will be able to correct me on that. The other kicker with this is you kind of need a bit of spirit to be able to get cast on crit. Not a lot. The Solar Amulet does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, getting a big juicy increase to spirit. All you need is at least 38, 37, depends on the roll that you get with the amulet, on your body to then further cap out that spirit, so you can have cast on crit, combat frenzy, and also Herald of Thunder. Big negative is we don't have Wind Dancer, which does hurt our survivability a little bit, but when I took it off, I didn't really notice that it wasn't there anymore, so I don't think you're going to notice it too much, but it does suck that we can't use Wind Dancer, but it is what it is. And if you can get any extra accuracy, take that as well, because that's going to further improve your DPS with Twister, because the accuracy rating does turn into flat physical damage. And then for anyone that wants to know what my crit hit chance is, we have 75%, and then our crit damage multi is 545%. So we're getting a lot of it. We're critting very consistently. We're doing big crits very consistently. Now let's move on over to the skill tree, ladies and gentlemen, and you're probably noticing this looks very familiar. Just like every other lightning spear build you've probably seen on the internet, and you would be correct. Yes, this is exactly the same as every other lightning spear setup you've probably seen somewhere. So I'm not going to go over this skill tree. This is, like I said, pretty much exactly the same as a lot of other Huntresses and Rangers are running. The only difference is I have proficiency. I know a lot of other people don't run proficiency. You kind of need to if you want to get cast on crit into the setup. I don't have Spectral Ward. If you had this would help with defense so much. I just don't have another 2 points I could take out to put this here right now. So if you can get Spectral Ward, if you got more, if you're a higher level than I am, that's going to help improve your defense tremendously. But for now, I just don't have that. But the main reason we've come over here is we want all that crit damage bonus. We want all that crit chant because it does really help the Tangle Tongue perform even better. And then I did take more skill speed just because Whirling Slash is kind of slow-ish compared to everything else in the game. So just having a little bit extra attack speed definitely goes a long way in helping the build flow a lot better. Just to quickly show my jewels, because I know some people asked about this in the last video, here is my Ruby jewel. It's just got stun, attack damage, global physical damage. Jewel probably could be replaced with just more crit hit chance, more crit hit damage, but I haven't got that jewel yet, so that's what I've got there for now. This emerald one is pretty good, more evasion, crit damage bonus with spears, projectile damage, more mana flask recovery helps, I suppose. And then here's my sapphire, and one thing I would recommend that you kind of do need if you want to set this up, it definitely helped me going through maps, is that recover 2% of maximum mana on kill. The more mana you have, the more mana you get back. This modifier really does help with your mana sustain, and even more so now that we have cast on crit, there's a few extra things, draining our mana. So if we're killing enemies, we no longer have to worry about mana because we're just getting shitloads back. Pretty much it for the skill tree. Like I said, there's not too much to talk about here. It's exactly the same as every other goddamn lightning spear you've ever seen. So yeah, if you're using lightning spear, you'll be very familiar with this skill tree. So now for the Ascendancies, we are taking Critical Strike, Penetrate, Predatory Instinct, and also Elemental Infusion. And then for the attributes that you need to put this build together, for anyone that might want to know this, because I feel like it's pretty handy, you're going to need about 200 dex, you're going to need 133 intelligence, and you need the 54 strength to set up everything exactly how I have set it up. And that is basically it for this build update video. Hopefully this video did help you guys out. I've still been enjoying this season for the most part, but if I have one massive complaint right now, it's that the loot has to get fixed, man. It is so painfully exhausting and tedious trying to juice all your maps up just to fucking get nothing. Like, I'm probably maybe getting a divine every 4 or 5 hours, running rarity on maps, running my towers with rarity. It's fucking brutal. It's boring. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to not get loot in a game that's based around friggin' loot. So it does suck. I'm hoping that when the update does come out that they can fix loot, because my desire to keep playing the game is diminishing every single day because of just how bad the loot is. It's just not enjoyable to play the end game when you're not fucking getting loot, and all the pinnacle bosses, uniques have been gutted, so all that shit's worth nothing. So what have you got the farm for? Fuck all. That's what. So, I am hoping that they the loot update does kind of fix the loot, if not drastically improves the loot. I think it needs to be drastically improved, but whether that happens or not is left to be decided. But I am still enjoying the season for the most part. It is still a hell of a lot of fun. I don't mean to rant too much about how bad the loot is, but I just had to get something off my chest there. It is terrible. It is exhausting. I don't know how they expect anyone to go through Endgame like this. It is fucking boring, to say the least, really. So if you end up trying out this build for yourself, let me know down in the comment section if it worked for you, and also let me know if there's anything you think I could do to further improve this setup. I would also be very keen to hear that information as well. Appreciate all the love and support as always, guys, and until next time, stay safe, peace out.